All right, going live in three, two, one. Oh, this is Olivia on Air, 11, episode number 11. How are you doing this evening, Olivia?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing as best I can, I guess. The I guess we're all the way up to episode number 11. That's getting up there. I didn't realize we're up so
Yeah,
far. Pretty cool. So
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
the how's things going where you are? Anything new, exciting?
Nothing new. I put oranges on the front of the fruit pants.
Oh, did you have any pictures you could show us?
I don't. I forgot to take them.
Okay. The thumbnail for your for our show, the is that the pants that are on there?
Yes. Yeah. They're unfinished, but those are the pants.
Oh, okay, okay. So the wait a second. I don't think I can bring that up in a large version anymore since the show has already started. But I'd like to show that. Let me see if I can. Yeah, no, it's not coming up anymore. Sorry. Uh, the as far as the progress is going, are you how long do you think you're going to be finished?
I think I could be finished painting them by like the end of the week,
Oh,
but
really?
I
Oh,
don't know about like ironing them. Mostly just because motivation can be a lot of work. So.
the yeah, nothing's going on here. I will say that I had the bugs seem to be getting a lot worse around outside my house, and I have a couple of air conditioner units, and I heard both the two. I have three, but one of them's not functioning. But the two that are functioning, I heard a large, what sounded like a very large buzzing sound inside two of them. There was apparently a large insect had gotten somehow stuck inside, and I wasn't going to reach in to try to free it. I don't want to see them suffer, but at the same time, I didn't want to reach in there. Whatever they were big. They sounded big and nasty, like maybe big bees of some kind. So,
Ooh, that's gross. You need bats and bees. So maybe if you set up like a bat house, a bat's like it's on a wooden pole and then it's just a bat house, you get some bats because that's what like their I think their habitat loss is the worst. Like just generally over around like in like suburb areas, they're for like animals that eat bugs, those are the hold on. My words are just not. They're coming out all wrong. Like those bats and frogs um eat insects kind of the most out of all the suburb area um like animals, and they also have some of the worst habitat loss. So people putting up bat houses, and I don't know what you could do for frogs in your area, but there could be something. That kind of thing really helps for them. I
hmm.
think that explained it better.
So you're saying frogs will help as well? I don't. I've seen a couple of. I saw a tiny frog the other day right outside my house. So, and I saw a toad a few years ago. So, uh,
Ooh,
I'm not
yeah,
sure. I'm not sure if I'd be those. I live on the top of a hill, so I'm not sure if I'm going to see too many of those. They usually habitat. They like the water, don't they? Or am I mistaken on that? I would like the.
yeah. Toads like damp areas, kind of less the water, and frogs like the water more.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not much water at the top of a hill, so it's all at the bottom. The I was surprised to see the frog the other day. I was just cleaning some stuff around the side of the house, and I saw this tiny, real tiny, just jumping around, and it's like I didn't do anything. Just let him jump around, and just went off on his way. So, uh, the toad, the toad, I was surprised was on. I live on a gravel road, private road, and it was just sitting on the side of the road. So I moved him over so he wouldn't get hurt or anything. I didn't want to see him get run over. So.
That's good. And then you could always look up animals that eat insects in your area, and there should be like a list of them, and then you can figure out what you can do to promote their health and well-being, especially in the Northeast. Something that, or like I guess northern areas in general, something that's really hurting like populations of fish and frogs and things that live in water is salting the road, because the runoff from the salt salinates the water that the freshwater fish live in, and it puts in minerals and things that they're not used to or they don't need, and then it's kind of a big problem, and some of them are being genetically modified from different like weird chemicals and stuff like that. So that's also something to interesting
That's
to think
interesting.
about.
No, you also brought up the bats. I have seen bats. I've seen bats. I'm not sure if I've seen them where I'm living at now, but I've lived in the same general area within the same, like say 100 miles of my entire life. So I haven't gone very far. So, and I do remember in certain areas seeing bats at nighttime. There'd be like swarms of them sometimes flying overhead. So and I was, when I was a child growing up in the house we grew up in, when I don't know how we saw it, but we walked into our basement and there was actually a bat hanging from the ceiling. And the reason I say it was hard to see is because we didn't have a ceiling, like we just had like the support beams, so there was no real ceiling. It was like kind of like, it was not a flat surface. It was just like like the underside of the floor above it. So we saw this bat just dangling down, and at first we didn't know what it was, and then we realized it was a bat. So my dad got a jar, and I was very young. I was probably like 6 or 7 years old, but got a jar and pulled, and carefully, because the bat was sleeping, carefully put the bat in the jar and took it outside somewhere. I don't remember what he did though, but I'm not sure how a bat got in our house. That was kind of weird. Um,
Yeah,
I
that's kind of weird.
I've not seen too many bats around here though. But then again, I don't look out at nighttime, so that where I live, there's not much light where I live. It's the road is very dark, so it's very possible that they're just flying overhead. I just can't see them. I know that's when they usually tend to flock around a lot more. So
Yeah,
um,
they eat a lot of bugs, so they're good
yeah.
to like support and stuff.
Have you ever had any bats, or you dealt with any bats, I should say, like in that kind of a situation or something similar?
When my family lived in California, we lived in like mid California, where near the redwoods, and every night bats would come out and fly around. But that was when I was younger, so hopefully they still do that. But
Yeah, were they large bats?
I don't know. I was like 5, so they looked big to me, but they were probably just regular sized bats. I think that like the fruit bats, the really big ones, live in like Australia and Madagascar and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, the ones in this area, DC area, are relatively small. So I wouldn't say more than maybe the size of a fist. Put your fist, and that's probably how big they are with their wings. Not when they don't expand their wings, of course.
Yeah,
So would you like to check our question from last week?
of course.
Let's take a look at this. Looks like we got a decent number of responses.
Thanks to
3,100
everyone.
votes. Yes, thank you, everyone. 3,100 votes. Do you like going to the grocery store? And we asked people to share their opinion in the comments. And well, we got a 79% saying yes, they do. That's awfully high. I didn't think that'd be that high.
I
So
would think it would be more like kind of more to 50-50, but
that's
yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. No with 11%, and then after that we come with 10% with I don't care. Interesting. Well, let's take a look at these responses. See what we got here. Got what looks like it's maybe in Russian. I don't know what it's saying. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, buying foods, eating at fast and food. I like it. I love shopping. See, like noob. No, no. This is no. I thought I said noob for a second there. Whatever that means. Uh, do not buy anything online because it's a scam. Okay, I guess
Grocery shopping more in person is what we were thinking of, but
I was gonna say, well, I do my grocery shopping, but I do it through I do it online, so to speak. I use Instacart, so I don't know if that's what he's referring to, but let's see. Yes, it means I got money. Let's see. Yes, I like help my family members in work. It's good work. We can help our family like this. And I don't know what he's saying there. Yes, bro. Yes, but my snacks depends on my mood. That's interesting. I guess I I don't know. That seems to make a little more sense for me, kind of. The one next to it, does that say kinda? I think.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but not so much. Yes, but not so much. Yes, going to the grocery store is awesome. I can see the new Hot Wheels that I can't afford. And when I was a kid, or even now. I I have seen the Hot Wheels cars there when I remember going there. They always seem to have some. I look at them. I wasn't buying them or anything, but I do remember seeing them. So
I like
um,
getting Hot Wheels every now and then. Sometimes the colors are really just like fun.
hmm. I got them when I was a kid. In fact, I actually have like about I probably have about a couple dozen of them left over. One of the few things I actually have from my childhood. I still have them. Several Hot Wheels cars. I think some Matchbox ones as well.
That's
Um,
cool.
let's see, go to Robe's Food Mart is awesome. Okay, that's an inside joke right there. Robe's Food Mart is a mart that's in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So you can go inside the store and buy. I'm not sure you can buy anything in there. There might be a vending machine inside, and there's a cashier, I think. But other than that, I don't think you can actually buy anything. So wait, let's see. After shopping, cash paying is more in line. I hate waiting for paying the cash. Let's see. Sandeep says, sure. I love your special walkthroughs. Thank you very much. It's for the videos I have for my games. And I hate going to the grocery store, especially when it's busy. People always seem to get in my way, whether it's, I think we read this one. It seems familiar.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's because they block the aisles or with their carts, or they stand in the middle of the aisle and stare at the shelves and not give a crap about moving out of your way. Grocery shopping can be frustrating at times. Hmm. I will say back, this is a while ago. I tried going to a what's what they I don't know if people are familiar with this. I think you would be Shoppers Food Warehouse. Um, the Shoppers Food Warehouse about 25 years ago used to be ratty, ugly, nasty little stores. They were vile looking, and one of the ones I used to go to, it was just like it was run down and nasty, and because they had hardly anything in the store that was nice looking. I guess that's why they kept everything so cheap. The ones nowadays are extremely nice looking, but back then they were just ratty, and I still went there because they were cheap. And I remember the aisles were just real tight, and it was hard to get through, and the lines were always long because they kept the prices so low, and it was annoying to go through. It was just really annoying. Nowadays, the ones that they're just like they look like normal grocery stores, but back in the day, yeah, they were vile. So I can this last from Brandon P that I can relate to back when I went shopping back in those days. But nowadays, I'd have to say that's for at least where I'm at. Obviously, and where he's at, it's a little different. But where I'm at, it's not like that anymore. So
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. I think maybe like grocery stores have gotten a little bit better in general recently in like the past 10 years, I guess.
hmm
I don't know. I guess I mean that's kind of how passing time works. Everything kind of hopefully gets better. But yeah.
the I have gone to the Walmart in my area. That one's kind of run down looking. It looks old, and I don't mean old in like a nice old classic way. I mean old, just like an ugly old. Like they didn't maintain it very well. The floors are all dingy looking, and this kind of reminds me of the Shoppers Food warehouses from back in the 90s, but it's not as bad. But the lines are there though. There are always there's so many lines, and so I get discouraged from going to them. I can't stand waiting in those long lines. So
Yeah. The Walmart near me, it's like it has a lot of like self checkout, but when you get a lot of stuff, you probably don't want to do self checkout. And there's usually like one or two cashiers on the registers, and there's like 8 registers or 10 registers open. It's just that does frustrate me. I don't love Walmart, but
yeah, the self checkouts at the shoppers, they have conveyor belts, which makes it a lot easier. But I think the ones at the Walmart where I live, the Walmart doesn't have they don't have conveyor belts, which makes it a lot annoying. You just have to scan it and then put it into a bag immediately. So
right.
it's not a very yeah, just not yeah, it's just not a pleasant experience. I just don't like going there. So the
I like Target though. Target is nicer.
oh, that's true. Yeah, the Target where yeah, that's actually very nice looking. Yeah, I don't usually go there very much, but when I do, it's like, yeah, I forgot that they actually have food in the back area. So
Yeah. I don't remember when Target started doing food, but was it always like that? This is kind
I,
of going on a tangent, but
as far as I know, I mean, it's been. the Target where I live is not. Well, I used to have a friend when I worked at Clear Channel. He used to call it Target because he's trying to sound fancy. Um, the food. What I've been going there on and off for the past 17 years, and I think it's pretty much the same. I think they've always had food there, at least the one I've gone to, and that's the only Target I think I've ever gone in, unless it's one I've forgotten about. And but like I said, I don't go in there on a regular basis because the Shoppers is right across. It's in the same shopping area, the same, just right across the parking lot. So I usually go there instead.
Right.
I did for a while. I was looking for my special kefir, like like a health drink that has like probiotics and also calcium, and I needed that. So for some reason, the Target had it for like $1.25, which was like ridiculously cheap, and the Shoppers wanted like three times that amount, which was like I couldn't figure out why the price difference was so different. So I'd actually go into the Target just to get that, and then one day I walked in and they upped the price when I went to rig it up in the self charger and the self register or whatever. And I told the woman, hey, it's only supposed to be $1.20. They doubled the price. I said, hey, it's supposed to be $1.25, and she said okay, and she just dropped it back down again to the price I saw. So
Oh, interesting.
after that, I just stopped going there. I figured, well, they upped the price. I'll just go to the other place again. It's not a big deal. So
Yeah, I saw that when I was in Whole Foods with my mom. I saw that drink, and because you were talking about it before in one of the, I think like 2 episodes ago, or maybe three. But I saw it, and I did not get it because it did not sound very appealing to me. But I did see it, so. And there were a few. There was like a kind of quite a selection there.
yeah, it's probably like I said, the plain one is an acquired taste. I would not. I don't think anyone really likes it at first unless they have an interest, a very different attitude when it comes to foods. But the other ones, like I think I said, the one of them tastes like a Slurpee. The blueberry one tastes like a Slurpee. So if you like Slurpees, it's just like a Slurpee. Now
Interesting.
that was just my one experience. I never tried that one again, but the whole bottle just felt like I was drinking a Slurpee. That's how, and that was probably the sugar. I think I said that before too, but yeah, it definitely tasted pretty decent compared to the plain one. Plain one is yeah definitely an acquired taste. So do you have a question? You said you had a question for today. I think I forget what you were saying, what you wanted to talk about.
I do. So recently for school, I was getting stationery and things, and I know that that's one of those things where people, I feel like it's another one of those things where people either don't care or they really enjoy it. Because like a couple of my friends are like stationery is stationery, I don't really care about it. But some of them are I'm kind of the same where it's like I don't know why, but I really enjoy getting stationery and getting different pens and things like that. It's just like I don't know. It's one of those things I feel.
Hmm. Okay.
So maybe we could ask like, do you like shopping for stationery?
Okay. Stationary. I have. I see. I'm trying to add to that because I can't really. Um, I don't usually use it myself. Um, how, how often do you
Maybe. Oh wait, go ahead.
how often do you buy stationery?
Just really just once a year for school stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The so as in stationary, as in like I try to envision when I think of stationery, I think of like something that's similar to a post-it note thing.
Yeah.
Um, okay, okay. So
Maybe in parentheses we could put like office supplies because just in case anyone doesn't know.
okay, supplies. Okay. Oops. Close parenthesis. There
Perfect.
we go. Okay. So we go. What do you want? How do you want you want to put the yes first or the no first?
Let's put the no first.
Alrighty. No, it shall be. Yes. Any other responses?
Um, no, maybe we could just be like, I guess no, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Just trying to think if I could add something there. Let me think. Um, no, I guess I can't think of anything. I was trying to. put something that sounded kind of clever, and but it's just not coming into my head right now. So, okay, you want to leave it at that?
Yeah,
Let me proofread it real quick. Do you like shopping for stationery, office supplies? Okay, here we go. Ready?
perfect. Yep.
There we go. It's all so. Oh, oops, disappeared. Whoops, hold on a second. I go back to where. Give me a second here. Uh, oops. Oh, don't tell me. Don't make it disappear again. Oh, good. There we go. Okay, we can come back to that later.
And
So,
thanks for everyone who comments and everything.
yes. Yeah,
I like hearing about it. And do you like organize your life with stationery? Because I know some people, like it's a really fun way to make scheduling appointments and just kind of mundane everyday tasks. It's a fun way to make it exciting, like with aesthetic and pretty stationery. So it can be like it can be a really good method for people who have a hard time like keeping calendars and keeping schedules and stuff. It can be like a really good method for them to keep their life, kind of together.
Hmm. I do something similar with Microsoft Word, I guess. I just type out what I need to do, and I have lots of documents that are just labeled in various weird ways that I know are things that I need to check up on. So I guess that's a digital form of stationery, I guess you could say. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Digital stuff doesn't work for me as much. Like, if I put it on my computer, I'm not gonna remember that it's there. And so, like, that's why I have so many tabs open and everything, because I'm just gonna forget everything. It's one of those ADHD things where it's out of sight, out of mind. So I use a whiteboard calendar that I can write the month, the days, and like any notes and stuff that I have so that I don't forget anything, which is good.
Hmm. I think I had something with a calendar many years ago. Oh, you know what, Mike? Maybe I'm thinking of like an old checkbook or something. So I'm not sure, but the maybe it's I think I actually got someone gave me a present though. It wasn't a checkbook, but it had some sort of calendar thing in it, like what you're describing, like a book that just had the calendar, the days on there. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't think I ever used it though. I think it just sat around and went to waste, unfortunately. So
Yeah, it's an agenda.
yeah, yeah. When I was teaching, I did write things down a lot when I was teaching, but that was a little different. I the but it was still at the same time I didn't really use stationery. I just stapled together a lot of papers. I I guess kind of like stationery, but I then just use that as as a makeshift. I type it out or print it out first off a computer. So not really the same, I guess, but kind of in the same general area, I guess.
Yeah.
So alrighty, well come back to that later on, see what kind of results we get. And thanks, like Olivia said, thanks for participating in these questions. We enjoy responding to them as well. So the movie for this week, did you want to tell everyone what it was?
I don't want to mispronounce it because the last name is kind of hard for me to pronounce, but I'll try.
Okay.
It's The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Munchausen?
Uh, in the movie, they pronounce it a couple of ways. Baron Munchausen, or at one point, it's also pronounced Baron Munchausen. So, so this movie is something that you had never seen before.
Right, right.
That's interesting. I had seen this movie. I'd seen it probably. I think I saw it when it was brand new in the theater. So, give you an idea. Um, the this is before we went live. You were talking about how it seemed like a Monty Python movie, and you do know that it was directed by Terry Gilliam, who was from Monty Python.
Yeah,
And
and wasn't one of the characters in it also in the Monty Python ones?
yes, Eric Idle also starred. I think that's who you're referring to, Eric Idle.
Yeah. The
He
one
was
who can run really fast?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up a list of the names. Give me one second here, so we can actually go by the character name, so we're not just saying the people. Give me a second. Eric Idle was Desmond Berthold. He played two characters. Berthold, that's the character I was thinking of. So, or
Yeah.
you were trying to reference there. I mean, so now the movie when it first came out was not really received very well. In fact, uh, what's his name? Robin Williams. Robin Williams' agent, apparently, from what I remember hearing, I'm not saying this is factual because that's just from hearsay. did not think the movie was going to do very well, so his name does not appear in the credits, which is kind of interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I was surprised to see Robin Williams in there, but he did a really good job as the Moon King or whatever.
Uh-huh. In the closing, in the credits, he's actually listed as Ray D. Tutto, Tutto. um, and let's see who else was in there. The
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, yes, this is one of her early appearances. Very young looking Uma Thurman, in fact, almost like she looks like a teenage girl almost. I think she might.
Yeah.
So,
That's one part that really disturbed me. That was like Baron Munchausen and Uma Thurman. That's so creepy.
because he's going after a woman that's like a third of his age.
Yeah, he could be her great great grandfather. That's really creepy and gross to me personally.
um, the movie itself, Terry Gilliam has stated that this is part of a trilogy of sorts. Now, technically, there are no movies that lead up to this one. It would be considered the third of that trilogy, though. What he means by that is they all fall in the same kind of genre, like a fantasy story in which the character goes on a fantastic journey of sorts. So the first of those movies would be the 1980, I think it was 82, the 1982 movie called Time Bandits. And then a few years later, I can't remember what year the next one came out. It was a movie called Brazil, and this one would be the third of those movies. Like I said, they're not true trilogies in the sense that the characters carry over or anything like that. They're just trilogies in the sense that they follow the same kind of genre. So
Right.
I will say I've not seen Brazil all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces, or maybe I haven't. I just forgot about it. But I have seen Time Bandits, and Time Bandits follows a very similar premise. A young child, in this case, a young boy, goes on a journey through time, and these little men, six of them, basically take him along on a journey, and he explores different areas of time. They have the ability to travel through time because they were hired by the supreme being who they can't refer to as God, even though that's who it's supposed to be. And they have to repair the universe because because the Earth was made in 7 days, and there's a lot of shoddy parts that were still need to be repaired. So they use the map to jump to different parts of time. They can go to different parts, different time periods. So
That's
um,
cool.
similar to this, you have in this case, it's a little young girl. She goes on a fantastic journey, and in this case, she goes to the moon and different locations. So if you watch Time Bandits and watch this, you'll see there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. So,
Yeah, yeah, probably. I will say that I don't usually like young children going on adventures just because no offense to young children, but they are annoying sometimes. And it's like sometimes I don't know, it's like sometimes like if they're written wrong, they are really just a catalyst for issues. You know what I'm saying? In
mhm.
some movies, even as side characters, sometimes they're just like kids are just used as catalysts for issues, which is just annoying to me. But this one wasn't like super annoying, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah, she was actually pretty good. The kid in this one's actually really good. So, uh, she she does get a little she does get her voice gets a little high sometimes, which might be a little shrill sometimes, which might be a little bit annoying, but aside from that, she's pretty good. So she she maintains the whole perspective. um there's a scene, if talking about the little girl, there's a scene in the movie. I'm going to try to bring it up here. We'll jump around through this. We don't have to stay in the exact order. There's a scene at the closer to the end of the movie where they're inside the big fish right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Where the little girl is saying that we need to go rescue the town, and the Baron gives up, and he goes, well, I don't want to do whatever he says. I don't remember what he says exactly, but she's saying we need to go back and save everyone, and everyone's basically given up. And for some reason, out of nowhere, the Baron's horse appears, and that somehow gives them reason to go back and save the town, which doesn't really make any sense. It's like, what? Why does that make sense all of a sudden?
Yeah, he said it was a good omen, but I think that was just, just a quick way to transition to the next scene.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would have been more. better if the girl had if she had been able to convince the Baron to go back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of just having some random element introduced to the story like that, if she had been able to convince him and he said yes, you're right, and he decided we better go back, and then she was able to convince him. It would have, I think it would have added more to the story in my opinion. So.
Yeah, it would cuz like he throughout the movie he's kind of I don't know. There are a couple times where he's like just let me die. I'm ready. And it's like it would be nice if in this scene she kind of like maybe they had a moment where he was like, "Wait a minute, maybe I'm not quite done living yet." You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
instead he's just still kind of ready for death.
The and this is very much a fantasy movie, and I got to say, you said you liked it from the beginning, right? You loved this movie, or you say you loved it, but you really liked it, I guess, is right? Is that what
Yeah,
you?
I liked it. I like the colors and I like the how it kind of reminded me a lot of Monty Python and the transitions and stuff, which is really nice. I liked how they put everything together. I liked how it was edited. Um it was very fantasy movie. It kind of reminded me of the Neverending Story, which I didn't love, but I think I didn't like it because I saw it like when I think I was it. You know who the Neverending Story is?
Yeah, in fact, I don't know if I ever told you this, but my cousin played the main character in the second movie.
We
So,
talked about this. I think you already know then. I watched it when I was in like grade school and it was thundering and I was already just like upset and then they showed us this movie with a furry dragon and I was like, this is enough. I don't want to see this.
yeah, I'm not a. I saw the movie when that was brand new. I wasn't really a big fan of it. I only I say I'm probably repeating myself, but I reluctantly watched the second one just because my cousin was in it. But that was about it. So,
Yeah, but the colors, the clouds remind me of it a lot actually. When they are in the clouds in the boat or something, I think.
in this movie, was what you're saying. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I was leading up to originally, and I wanted before we go too far, is I said you liked the movie. When I saw this movie originally, I did not like this movie. In fact, I hated this movie. So, uh,
Interesting.
it's a movie that I decided to watch a second time, and after maybe after a second viewing, I don't remember if it was a second or a third viewing, I decided I actually liked it, and I might change my opinion. It became a movie that I really really like. So, there are certain things in my life I actually hate when I first see them, and then for some reason they grow on me, and I begin to like them. So. Ironically, the game I play on this channel is called Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which is the one I play the most. I actually hated that game when I first started playing it, and it took me a while. I stuck with it, and I didn't give up, and I actually started liking it. And then I ended up playing it the most out of any other game I've ever played in my entire life. So, been playing
Interesting.
been playing that game since 2006 right now. So once in a while I have taken a little bit of a break, but it's mostly pretty consistent because I've been uploading videos to the channel on a regular basis. So,
That's good. I mean, I guess that means that you're like open-minded to things that you know you don't originally have high um high regards for, you know.
well, and I think the reason I didn't like this movie when it originally came out was because it is very, very much fantasy. It's not grounded in reality.
At all. And that's what I think that's what I like a lot about it. It's so odd. It's
Uh-huh.
great.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying that I think that's why I originally I didn't like it. So the movie that is similar to this Time Bandits was had a more sense of being grounded in reality. So there was a fantasy element at the very end of the movie that the last the third act I guess you could say had definitely have a more fantasy element to it. But the first two thirds, the first two acts definitely were not. They were more grounded and had a more feeling of being in a realistic feel to them. So this one was definitely not. And I saw it and I was like, why am I? I felt like at first like, why am I watching this? So, and like I said, that's just my initial feeling. I've changed since then. So I think the mentality, my mood had to be. I had to think about it and just watch it as if it was just realize it's just fantasy and not really think about it. And that's when I started to like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like that's how most people would feel about it. Like if you go into it in like a mindset of reality of like a I don't know how to explain it, but like you're ready to see a movie that's about reality or slightly realistic, you probably wouldn't have a good time seeing this.
Yeah.
But
And
I definitely, okay, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. I'm fine. I was gonna say, yeah, definitely give it a try, but go ahead.
I like, I really appreciate movies like that where the fantasy is just so full blown to the point where the transition scenes don't even have any base in reality. So for the viewer, it's almost like a complete like it kind of really takes you into that mindset of a fantasy story that just does not follow the rules or laws of nature or anything like that, where it's like in the that beginning scene they transition from like being in the theater to being in, in the where was he? He was in the
I'll bring it up here. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to hold on. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, here where they're at the theater. Uh,
yeah, and then they go right into his story and he just there. He goes like completely into, and I wasn't expecting it, but I really like how stories that do that, and I appreciate them a lot just because like that can be a bold move, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't like because it's like, oh, how did they even get there? How did they? That was a horrible transition. They just walked right into the scene, stuff like that. Or the thing like with the horse just jumps through and then takes them to the next scene, or the scene where they go from they like fall down from the moon to the earth, totally not based in reality at all. I just love it, how that kind of stuff where it's just like none of it makes sense, but that's, you just gotta go with it.
hmm the I will say the scenes the everything is done pretty well. I will say though some of the scenes it was a little hard to understand what they were saying sometimes. I think they needed to emphasize their dialogue a little bit better in some cases, just once in a while. Um, I just remember when at like, one of the examples I can think of. Most of the time it was pretty good, but like they would say something, and it was like, "What did they say?" And it's like, I don't think they were. Uh, the actors were given proper direction on how to say the lines properly. I do remember at the very beginning when they're in the theater, he's looking at the people that are playing the parts of his people, and he looks at them and goes, Berthold. He goes, "On Bill, he's Bill," or something like that. And I like, what did he say? And I like, you had to play it back to figure out what he said. So, but for the most part, the movie is done very well, and it's just there was a couple little things like that just kind of stick out. It's like I'm surprised Terry Gilliam let that go through because he's actually a very good director. So it seems like he just let that go through. It was, I don't think it was the actor's fault. It was just the direction or something that just didn't work very well on that. But anyway, the who else? Oh, yeah, the young Uma Thurman in this. I want to see how old she was in this. I'm going to look this up. I'll go ahead and bring up the IMDb listing here so we can take a look at this. Uh, Uma Thurman. This movie came out in '88, and she was born in. Oh, she was born in 1970. Okay, she was yeah, she was 18 years old at the time. So very very young Uma Thurman. In fact, it's funny. I always forget it's her when I see her. And looking at her movies here, she was. This was according to this was her fourth movie. So I've not seen these other ones, so I don't know what she was like in any of those. So Baron Munchausen was 1988. Her first movie was '84. So she must have been very very young in this first one. Like 14 years old. So um, the the other characters in this movie, uh, who else would you say stood out?
um Let me think. I think Robin Williams as the moon, that was like really well done. I like the moon, how I don't know if you noticed, probably, but there was like it was kind of slightly subtle, the change from Earth to the moon. The level of fantasy was, for me, to me, higher on the moon. Like when they got to the moon, it made less sense than on Earth, which was fitting because we know less about the moon. But like they could take their heads off. They like transitioned into like they were, where were they before they were in on that that podium with the dining table surrounded by the art, they couldn't get down. You know that one? He was like, I just created this. So, like, who's in charge or something like that. That. They were like,
Right.
I don't know, they just popped up there. I don't
Yeah.
remember how they did. And then they chopped her hair off and then they never showed him making a rope out of it, but then he had the rope. You know, it's stuff like that where I think it's even less realistic than when they're on Earth, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. The interesting thing about the moon scenes is that when their heads come off, obviously Robin Williams, the head has a different personality when it's detached from the body, like it's a different person altogether. But the queen, her head doesn't do that. So, which is kind of interesting how that worked exactly. I don't know if it was they just didn't seem to remember, or it was like it was just not a big deal to them. It seemed like it would be more consistent to have them be both the same in that way, but it wasn't a big deal about that. The one thing I did want to say before I go too far is that the from what I remember reading about this, and I don't have any sources to back this up, but basically there was a real Baron Munchausen from the 1700s that existed, and he would come back from different, I guess, I don't know, escapades, battles, or whatever he came back from with these really outlandish stories, and he would relay them to the people, and that's where the myth of Baron Munchausen came from, supposedly. So he would I don't know how outlandish these stories actually were, but there was an actual I don't know if you watched the closing credits. I think it was the closing credits. See if I can see it here. There at the very end, it says, "There it is." I can't believe I got there. That this is not to be confused with the 1942-1943 version of Baron Munchausen. Like they need to actually say that for some reason. Uh, but yeah, there's apparently this movie which I've never seen all has was also based on this fantastical character that was based on supposedly a real person. So yeah, obviously there's, it would be interesting to see what kind of person this real Baron Munchausen was. I believe he was German, so I don't know anything else more than that. So if anyone wants to leave comments, describing it, I don't think anyone's going to have much more than that because there's not really much. I mean, you could probably do an internet search, and what you find on the internet may or not be accurate. It's probably just people's opinions floating around anyway. So who knows how accurate it's going to be? So
Right, that's cool. I like it's definitely possible. I definitely wouldn't put it past someone to do that, especially back in like the 16 and 17 1800s. Like I feel like it's interesting to think about how you could really tell anyone anything and they would probably just believe you. Like do you ever wonder about the amount of people that like claimed they were nobility and then nobody had any like proof to disprove them, so they were just like, okay, you're a nobility, I guess.
hmm and one of the things that comes to mind is I'm a one of my favorite aspects of North American history is Native American history, and when you meet people, a lot of times they'll say they're if they have Native American ancestry or they think they do, they'll often say that they're Cherokee, they're part Cherokee, and it's a common thing because they actually don't know what they are, and it just becomes Cherokee. It just becomes a catch-all phrase, Cherokee, and people just accept it. So. Um, it was something that one of the classes I took was actually called the history of the American Indian, and the teacher actually spelled that out one time. That he actually told me privately. He didn't tell me the class publicly, but he said that, yeah, oftentimes when you find somebody, they'll just throw out the word Cherokee, and it's kind of like the nobility thing. They just accept it for what it is. You don't question it. So
Yeah, it's kind of, I think that's disrespectful to the Native American culture, but yeah, I mean, if you can figure out what you really are, that's good, but
yeah,
just throwing up a word probably isn't the best decision.
the Cherokee had a profound influence on North America, the United States. I think that's probably why that is. So they were one of the most prominent nations of the that lived in the South, and so I, I believe that's probably why the people do that. They're most well known, one of the most well known nationalities. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily disrespectful, but it is, it would be better if you actually could verify you are of a certain nationality instead of just throwing the word Cherokee in just to cover like a catch-all phrase. So, but
Yeah.
let me see. So, The other cast of characters that were in here, we had Eric Idle, with Berthold. Now that's another Monty Python. I believe he and Terry Gilliam were the only two Monty Python people in this. Looking at the cast here, John Neville. I believe John Neville's. I think he's passed on already. Let me bring him up here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he died 10 years ago. So, I'm not a fan of the X Files, but my dad is. I think yeah, he was in the X Files. So my dad used to watch that show a lot. And he used to show up, and once in a while, I would be with my dad's place or something, or we'd watch. See it on, and I didn't watch it unless my dad was there, and I remember seeing him in there. It's kind of funny to see him. I was like, oh, that's Baron Munchausen. So, let's see what else we got in here. Oh, there you go. Jack Purvis, the little guy that's in this movie. I was talking about the movie Time Bandits. Jack Purvis was one of the six little guys that was in the movie Time Bandits. So it definitely not the same character, but and bring up his character right here. You can actually see a picture of him, which is kind of interesting. In the movie Time Bandits, all the six different characters wore different outfits. So like he wore a pirate outfit. So almost implying that they had been on so many different adventures that they had different outfits from different time periods, and his was a pirate outfit. So
That's fun.
the oh, here we go. Here you can see a picture of it right here. There you go. So you get an idea. Here you go. You can see what they look like. He's wearing a Civil War hat. He's wearing a old style pilot's hat. He's like these are like old. He's wearing like an old miner. This guy right here that I'm pointing at, that's actually the guy who played R2D2. I can't remember his name now. And yeah, I'm not sure what the other. Oh, he's like a Viking, and I can't remember what his is at the top. But anyway, you can see him right there on the right.
Yeah, it looks like it would be a really fun movie.
It is. It's actually a pretty good movie. The let me see who else is in here. Anyone else like um actually not too many people I can think of. Allison, see who this is. Allison Steelman. Is that her name? Oh, Stedman. She looks familiar. I can't remember who she is though.
I think she was the moon.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who else she's been in is what I meant. But yeah, yeah. Not too many people that would be well known, or at least really like Uma Thurman stands out. Robin Williams stands out, uh, and Eric Idle stands out. He's been in a lot of things, and then John Neville to a lesser extent. He's not as well known. No, I can't think. I don't see anyone else there that really stands out. The one person that I thought I would recognize was Adolphus. He's the guy that played the guy. He's the one that had the when he was younger. He had the keen eyesight and he could shoot from a distance.
Oh yeah.
And the way he talked, I thought maybe he was someone I recognized, but he's not. He's no one I recognize at all. So,
Yeah,
um,
he sounded like Donald Duck
oh yeah, yeah,
when he
and
was like old, at least.
oh yes, okay, I see what you're saying now. Very much so. Yes, the though I will say there's one. He has one line in the movie which really stood out, and that's when where are they at? They're in the Sultan's palace in the beginning, and he makes a wager with here this scene right here. He had made a wager with the Sultan, and he comes over to his his companions here, and he goes. Adolphus says he looks and says uh, to the Baron. Baron says we need to find Berthold, and whatever he says, and Adolphus says he looks at him and says, "I'm sorry, I don't find that funny." And, and then then the Baron says, This isn't a joke, it's a wager." And all of a sudden, the three of them just jump to attention and go, "A wager!" And all of a sudden, they take it they take it seriously. All of a sudden, like somehow the wager makes it something they should take more seriously at that point. So
Yeah, I think it like maybe they just joke around so much that they think that he was trying to make a joke, and then because didn't he was like we need to he said to, oh gosh, I forget his name. It was the guy with the glasses.
the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
He
Yeah,
says
right
to
there.
him that he needs to get a bottle of wine from, I think, somewhere in Italy. I don't remember where. Um, and like tell the empress or whatever, um, by the end of the day, or else he'll have his head cut off. And they were like, well, that's not funny.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a yeah. That's exactly. I couldn't remember how it went, but yeah, that's exactly. So no, I don't find that funny. The let me see if there's any trivia in here that I can we can discuss here. Um, oh, according to the trivia section, I'll bring this up. This is on IMDb. Now, I don't trust anything that's on IMDb. You can, you know, you could look at it and say maybe it's real, maybe it's accurate. I don't know. It's like IMDb. It's, I mean, I'm sorry, like Wikipedia. I mean, it's, you know, you're risking, you know, if you believe it's, you know, take it, you know, at your own risk there. You know, who knows how accurate any of this is, but it says this was Uma Thurman's first acting job, because of the inordinate production delays for the movie. Was not her debut. She also belongs to the very short list of actors who were hired on the very first audition. That's interesting, but
That's cool. It's kind of believable because I was thinking about it, and like with the technology they had then, it's very impressive the quality of like the sets and everything that they had. Like it looked like it would have been such a cool set to be on because it was so extravagant, and every location or like different area they were in was so different. Um and it just looked like it would have taken a really long time to just like make all the stuff for the set, you know?
hmm and this and everything, all the sets are very beautiful, very gorgeous. Uh, I, a lot of quiet time and quality was put into this. Um, we go back. We can look at some of these right here. Like this right here. This is just the Sultan's Palace itself. I mean, it really stands out. You were talking about the
Yeah.
colors earlier, right?
Hmm?
You were talking about the colors.
Yeah, like that. That's what really reminded me um of Monty Python, the colors, the way that everything looked, the I don't know, it just looked so that kind of set looks very fantastical to me. Like it reminds me of a fantastical movie, and it's like it's just you can see so much effort was put into everything. And the wine bottle, I don't know if you saw it like that, but the wine bottle looks like it's giant. It looks like it's in the mountains for some reason to me. And then he grabs it and it's small and it's like, "Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't see that that way. That's interesting.
Maybe it's just a trick of the eye." But like, that kind of thing where it's really cool.
No, there's another scene at the end where not the end where it's where they go through the earth, I think, and they land. Let me jump ahead to that. Uh, yeah, where they land here, and they think they're in the land of giants, and they definitely do an optical trick right there to make it
Yeah, yeah.
like they say that they're very large, yeah, right there.
They're very large and strong, yeah.
And it turns out they're the same height.
The
So,
Baron is taller than all of them.
um, let's see. There's more trivia I wanted to look at here. Um, let's see. Let me bring it back. Oops, don't want that. There we go. Okay. It was about John Neville was unable to read or eat properly because of the size of his prosthetic nose. Hmm. I always thought that was his real nose, to be honest.
Me too. That didn't look. Oh, do they mean the first? Wait. No, yeah, they mean him. I thought
Mhm.
that's his real nose.
Yeah. It's I guess it's yeah, I guess well, I guess the original Baron Munchausen was known for having a large nose or something. Let me go ahead and give me a second here. Let me bring that back up. I covered the screen up here. There we go. There we go. Let's see. We got a picture of John Neville. See what his face looks like. Yeah, you can see that. I guess that is a fake nose, maybe. Let's take a look at his photos here. Here we go. Here's a picture without it. Yeah.
No, I think that's his real nose.
Really? You think?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was one of those elaborated facts. Maybe it was a fake, like maybe it was like a partial prosthetic nose, because that looks very the same.
Okay. It looks like it comes a little forward on the hump there to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. Uh, was there anything in particular that really stood out? Other than that, I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head here.
I think the whole movie is just like so super fantastical. I love that scene. The scene where they're falling down from the moon. I think that kind of thing would have like freaked me out if I was a kid. But yeah, I think I would not have liked this movie if I saw it when I was younger. It's one of those ones I don't know. It's very weird. It's very like it's a mind adventure. It's very fun.
Yeah. The let's see. So we're gonna skip through here, see if there's anything that stands out here. How do you feel about now? You talked about the fact that it was kind of creepy that the Baron was going after young Uma Thurman with their age difference. How do you feel about the her actual husband? Because they're
Yeah,
pretty.
that's just as weird. I mean, I if it was one of her first roles, I would never blame her for taking it because, as I'm sure as a young actor, a role with Robin Williams and people from Monty Python would be a really big one to get right off the bat. But it is very weird and very creepy.
So as far as Monty Python, have we discussed that before? I don't think you and I have
Yeah,
discussed.
I
Okay,
think so. In one of like the first episodes, I think we.
okay. And you watched Monty Python's Flying Circus?
I don't think I watched. I think I watched part of the Flying Circus, but I
Okay.
watched all of the Holy Grail.
Okay, okay. The reason I bring up the Flying Circus is because Terry Gilliam, who directed this movie, he got his start directing the animated segments during the Flying Circus TV show. So if you've ever seen the animated, it's very unique. No, I don't think anyone else has ever duplicated it in any other way, and it stands out. In fact, oh, the Holy Grail, I think some of the he used it in the Holy Grail as well.
The
So
animation.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
so
think God talks to them in the Holy Grail, and it's an animated one, and it's funny.
yes, yes, that's it exactly. Yeah. So if you've seen that, then you know that's the kind of animation that was used throughout the TV show as well. So, and that's how he got his start, was directing those scenes. And then when they came with the Holy Grail, which was their first Monty Python movie, I believe it was the first one. He directed that, and then that's where he got his start. He just expanded and went other places. So,
Yeah, and I think he must have been very focused on not breaking the viewer's suspension of disbelief. Because I feel like the for this movie and maybe other movies like it, and definitely the Monty Python one, the way that the animation and the like live action work together is very it's very like coherent. It's not like super similar, like you can tell that it's animation, but it's not so starkly different that it's like a shock.
hmm
Some parts of it are like I don't know, it's incorporated very very well, which is really nice, and I think they really want the viewer to be completely like engulfed in the movie.
now, how many other Terry Gilliam films have you seen? You've seen obviously you have seen the Holy Grail. What else have you seen that you know of?
I'm not sure. I'm so bad at like if I'm watching a movie, I have no idea who directed it. I'm so bad at like reading the names when they're coming across the screen. Um I don't know. For me, direction is one of those things that I very rarely notice in movies. I don't know why, but it's just like I it's hard for me to see and like make connections between. Maybe it would be easier if I saw multiple of Terry Gilliam's
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
movies,
Trying to bring it up right now as we speak.
just
So
because like this direction style is very unique. But for most of them, like I have no idea who directed The Devil Wears Prada. I know who directed Mean Girls. That was Tina Fey, but that's only because she's cool.
uh, so here's the list. Yeah, it looks like his. Oh, okay, the first one he has listed is a short. I don't know what that is, but out of the actual movies, yeah, Monty Python and the Holy Grail is his first. Let's see, Time Bandits here is the one I was talking about before. Brazil, which is the other one. So I said Time Bandits was actually 80. It's actually 81 that came out, not 82. So Brazil was 85. and then The Adventures of Baron Munchausen was 3 years later in 1988. So, and those are the three that are considered like a trilogy of sorts to him. Um,
Yeah.
and they all share that same kind of was this a dream or was it real kind of attitude? You know, when they in the Time Bandits has that. I think Brazil has that, and this one definitely has it because at the very end, you like as the movie wraps up, you're like they do an instant transition to him winning, him being buried a lot, you know, because he had just been killed, to him being on stage saying, laughing, saying, and that was just one of the multiple times I died or whatever he said.
Yeah. He
It's
said that was one of the multiple times I died, and like he said something about, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough or something like that. It was like that was another one where it's like it just the fantasy is so well done. It's just they really dove into it with they just did not let anything hold them back from doing like a full-on fantasy movie that just does not make logical sense at all. I love those kinds of movies. It's so fun.
and then the little girl says something to the effect, but that was that real or that was real or something, or I can't remember how she said that. So, and it's he does that. He likes to do that in his movies to create this illusion. Was it real or was it just a fantasy all along? So, not
Yeah, I like that kind of thing where it's very up for the interpretation of the viewer.
mm-hmm. Look at these other movies here. The 12 Monkeys is a time travel movie. The Fisher King is a very dark movie. Um, That's a shock jock radio DJ in New York who says something on the air that gets someone killed, and so he leaves the industry. And then Robin Williams is also in that one. And then they Robin Williams helps save the DJ or something. They save each other or something. I haven't seen the movie for a long time, so I don't remember the plot. But compared to like the Adventures of Baron Munchausen, it is very dark. It's not there's not compared to, you know, most of his movies at that time period, it doesn't have that kind of comical quality to it. So, um, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. You ever seen that one?
I have not.
Very very interesting movie. Have you ever seen a Cheech and Chong movie?
Yes.
Okay, I would say that this is like a very sophisticated Cheech and Chong movie. Johnny Depp plays the main character. His name is what was his name? Raoul Duke, and Raoul Duke is an actual person in real life. And that it's basically his account of what he did during the 1970s, and they're on drugs throughout the whole thing, and so it's very weird movie, very strange movie.
That's
Um,
cool. I didn't love Cheech and Chong. I think I only watched it once, and that was like 5 years ago. So maybe I would have a different opinion about it now.
okay, which one did you watch? Do you remember which movie you saw or
I don't
TV?
remember. I think one of the I don't know. I don't remember what are the Cheech and Chong movies. I think it was one of the first ones.
The okay,
Maybe the
I'll bring him up here. The other thing I wanted to talk about while I'm bringing this up is um I can just bring up, yeah, there's Cheech and Chong's next movie. Um is the elements that are added. I'm gonna bring up their list here. Cheech Marin. Um the is that I'm sorry, Terry Gilliam likes to add, and it seems in almost all his movies he has a Ferris wheel. Not Ferris, I'm sorry, a merry-go-round. Merry-go-round. There's a scene at the very end where they start circling around the Baron, and he cuts their heads off, and in every movie he always seems to throw in some sort of merry-go-round scene. He seems to love that merry-go-round aspect. So
That's cool.
let's see here. There you go. Going back to the very first one, which is actually considered to be a very good movie by a lot of people. I don't know if you saw that one. Is I think it's Up in Smoke.
That's the one. I
Okay,
think yeah, that's it.
Up in Smoke. Okay. Um, yeah, because it actually has a plot, whereas the ones that come out after that kind of lack in a plot. So that's the one that came out after that is actually a very weird movie. It's just called their Cheech and Chong's Next Movie, and I think that's the first one I ever saw of theirs that I remember. So, very strange movie. It's just it's just a bunch of random things that happen. It's just, I find it humorous. There's a scene my sister and I we were much younger, and I rented the movie from a local video store, and I do remember watching it, and there's a scene where they go into the bathroom, and the toilet is just so overflowed that he can't pee in the toilet. He has to open the window and pee outside. So it's just so it's just gross and silly at the same time. So
Yeah, those are fun movies where it's really just a collection of scenes.
uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
like that kind of thing. It's kind of like that with the Adventures of Baron Munchausen because that's the kind of movie where I know that literally tomorrow scenes are going to get mixed up in my head, and if I try to remember the correct sequence, I am going to fail miserably.
The there was anything, it was something else I wanted to add. I think I covered it. I wanted to make sure I got the merry-go-round and the fact if it was a dream or not. So um was there anything else? No, I can't think of anything else for this. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this movie?
I don't think so. I guess we can do our final ratings.
Yeah, that's a good idea because I was trying to think of I think we've pretty much talked about as much as we can talk about. Yeah, you go first.
Ooh, I would like to give it a 8.3 out of 10.
8.3, huh? That's interesting how you added that point three in there.
Yeah,
So,
it's like a little more than an 8, but I wouldn't say it's 8.5.
okay. Well, I'll go with that. I'll say I'll up it a little bit and say 8.5 since you threw that in there. So,
All right.
definitely a good movie, definitely something I'd recommend, but I have to preface this by saying that you have to keep an open mind that it is a fantasy movie. So, don't go in there with like I did with thinking it was going to be something like one of Terry Gilliam's older movies where it's going to be more based in reality. You got to have an open mind when you go in there and just accept that. So,
Yeah, it might help if you're sleepy or something, because if you're sleepy, you might be like ready to go on a brain adventure that's kind of like a dream, but you're just watching a movie.
mhm.
That's what I would say. It's like a dream. It's like you are having a dream for most of it.
Right, right. Okay.
It's
And
fine.
I can't think of would as far as the other. Oh, did you see what was the other? Did you recognize any of the other Terry Gilliam movies? Just curious.
I did not. I did not.
Okay, okay,
But I am also bad with titles. If it's on TV, I might just sit and watch and then not ever know what I've just witnessed, you know?
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
I'm not the best with names, like titles and things.
the 12 Monkeys. Jump on that one real quick just for the heck of it. The That's a Bruce Willis movie. It's a very interesting movie. Um, it jumps it has a like a full circle effect. So it's definitely not. I'm not going to give anything away. It's definitely not a dream movie. Is this a dream or reality? It's definitely more reality, but it has some fantastical, for lack of a better word, kind of elements added to it. So, um, and as the movies as Terry Gilliam progressed, you could tell he was getting more into a more serious kind of direction. You know, starting off with Monty Python, Time Bandits was kind of had some more of the a lot more of the Monty Python kind of humor. The Meaning of Life had a lot of Monty Python humor. By the time we get up to the Baron Munchausen, it has a little bit, not as much, and it gets. And by the time it gets up to the Fisher King, that's when everything gets really dark, and the 12 Monkeys, and the movies just kind of fade away. The whole Monty Python aspect from the movies I've seen to definitely fade away at that point. It's not really about that kind of humor anymore. He takes a different direction, which is good. I mean, he's very I like most of the movies any movie I've seen of his so far I actually like. So I've not seen all of them. I've only seen like a handful. So I think it's good. What he's done, he's gone in a good direction. That's what I'm leading up to. So.
Yeah. I think that's a good summary, like a good way to I don't know, summarize his work.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, you want to check our question from this evening? See what we got here. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Also, it started raining really hard, so if you hear like I don't know if you could hear it, but it is and it also might start thundering. So, perfect timing, honestly.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear it, so hopefully your power doesn't go out. So,
Let's hope.
all right. So what we got here is well, 93 votes so far, 49 minutes into the question. No responses yet. Do you like shopping for stationary office supplies? With a 74% no, and 26% yes. Interesting.
Interesting.
So it doesn't look like you are in the majority, at least with our people who are answering our poll there.
That makes sense. I feel like it's one of those things that, like, I might not even continue with it because sometimes you just don't really go into wander near the office supplies aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the only reason that you really go there is like if you need pens or maybe if you are a student, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever go to the like show like stores like Staples, like it's like all nothing but office supplies?
Yeah, I really like those stores. I like different pens. I like colored pens. I love pens that write really well. That makes it so fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So as far as your artwork, do you ever get anything from an office supply for your artwork?
I don't think so. Maybe to hang my artwork, maybe, but usually the office supplies is right next to the craft section in most stores. Like if I go get paint, unless I'm getting black or white paint, I really just get it at Walmart because it's so cheap and I use it often. So there's no point in getting for me. There's no point in getting expensive paint, you know.
Gotcha.
Um, but with black or white paint, I go to a real art store and I uh, I get like high quality just because I think that black and white, that's one of those defining parts of a painting or of one of my paintings where I really need those colors to be high quality. But other than that, yeah, no, I just go near the office supplies really.
All right. Well, we can wrap everything up. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience?
Thank you for listening once again, and I hope you have a great rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, or night.
And thank you for everyone. And we'll see you next week with episode number 12.